Or will Mark Joyce put his foot to the floor? One of them will be introduced at the Crucible sometime on, what is it, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on where their name comes out in the draw, for the very first time. Our only guaranteed debutant coming from this match. And they are the sole focus of our attention for the duration of this frame. Now, I'm assuming this is Janie Watkins. Janie and Sooty. It's a good stat here. I'm pretty sure it's Janie. I imagine it would be Janie, who used to be in the press room regularly. 21 years ago, Mark Joyce won the European Under-19s in Holland. Between his matches, he had to work on his maths homework, ready for his GCSEs. A 10-year-old Judd Trump got to the semis. Somebody called Arcs and Andy have said something's gone wrong with the feed. What's happened on YouTube? We'll try and find out. Apparently there was an issue for a few minutes, but if you are tuning in via the World Snooker Tour YouTube page or the Sportsman YouTube page, then welcome back.
Can you believe that shot, Rob? He hasn't played to land on that red on the black spot, but he's just about made it. It's almost touching. And he hasn't left the red into this bottom right-hand corner pocket. In fact, he doesn't have a red to pot here, Igor. I don't think he can cut this one back. If he does, it's very treacherous, but I think he's got away with that one, Mark Joyce. What a result. What a result he's had there. Good shot from Igor. Got a good cue ball.
It generally evens itself out at some stage, doesn't it? The run of the snooker gods.
Yeah. Well, you'd feel over a best of 19, yeah. But sometimes, you know, when you get a little bit of luck, there's another little bit there. Okay, he's still on the red. But, you know, sometimes the luck does play a part at certain points where, you know, you think like where the match might be in a balance. You get a little bit of luck, you win the frame, and all of a sudden it sort of won you the match or cost you the match. Yeah, a little bit of frustration.
I think at the start of the match that would have gone in.
Yeah.
He was so positive. He came out racing, didn't he? I know there's a lot of people supporting him here for a whole variety of reasons, but that little
well,
show of frustration.
Yeah, and I think just what's gone before is where he's just been a little bit, his opponent's just had a little bit of luck. It's gone his way. It could have been nicer. He could have been in a couple of times, and that's just it's just boiling over a little bit for him. Now, what can Mark Joyce do here? Can't tell whether the pink is available, but he's definitely on the red just below the pink. He could certainly open up the pink and the pink spot here by taking this red below the pink. And play that blue nicely. Sort of played on a couple of reds there. And is he on this red? I think he is. Looks like he has enough of it. Well, maybe not. So the pink is tied up. He can't pot the red below the pink, so he's going to have to keep working on maybe ball colours and just the blue. As he tied the blue up, I mean, that's not a good shot at all. Didn't want the blue going on the black spot. So he's only got unless the pink is available into the left centre. No, doesn't look like that either. So just got the green and brown to play with now. Slowly running out of options here, Mark Joyce. As long as he keeps potting balls, he keeps putting more points on the board, he'll be happy.
This frame would be a real blow for Igor.
17.
Particularly from 2-1 up, to go 7-2 down would be big hammer blow for him. He might start turning green.
I do think that's a good nickname. The Hulk.
No? Okay, Igor, you got a chance. It's not a great chance, but you got an easy red to start off, and if you can try and create some sort of angle on green or brown, maybe could disturb that pink.
Just a reminder, the draw tomorrow, 11 o'clock, live, Eurosport app. And right here on the World Snooker Tour Facebook and YouTube channels, and on the Sportsman Facebook and YouTube, over at Betfred's headquarters in Salford.
Played that
1991.
nicely.
He did. 1991, champion of the world. John Parrott involved in the draw. Have you ever done the draw, Ken?
Oh,
Pulled out the balls?
Always missed that. Oh, no.
I think we need to add your name to the list at some stage.
I don't want to be treading on JP's toes. Thank you very much. He's a lot bigger than me and a lot heavier. Only joking, JP. You can take this brown on, but is there a red available down into this bottom left hand corner pocket? Let's see, what does this say? Snooker players starting to recognise the importance of physical fitness, especially with a grueling 17 days at the Crucible. Well, that's a very good point. I think we spoke about it a little bit earlier, didn't we, about Ricky Walden, when he said he was very fatigued by the time the semi-final came along.
Yes, and I don't think it's... I mean, look, Ronnie O'Sullivan rewrites all sorts of records for all sorts of reasons. I don't think it's entirely coincidental that he has won 29, if you include invitationals, 29 major titles since turning 30. And to me, it is not a coincidence that he is, I would say, at least joint fittest of the world's top 16. Liam Highfield was saying yesterday, after his great win over Zhao Yulong, the world number 17, Liam said he's running every day. Ricky Walden's running. Yes, in the one sense, snooker is not as intense a physical sport as football, rugby or cricket perhaps, but I think fitness is starting to play a slightly bigger role. Would you agree, Ken?
I think it definitely, I mean, look, it doesn't mean the fitter you are, you're going to win more tournaments, you know, like there's a lot more to it than that. But what I would say is that I think the fitter you are, your concentration is a lot sharper for sure, and particularly over the longevity of the Crucible, that it will certainly help you. There's no doubt about that. I mean, it's not going to take anything away from your game. It's going to only enhance it. And when you're concentrating, and your powers of concentration are better because you've got a fitter body, then that can only be a plus. When you say the second fittest or one of two, who was the other that you had in mind in the top 16?
Well, I was just thinking, I think Judd goes to the gym quite a lot, doesn't he? I know that's a slightly different type of fitness. I don't think he runs anywhere near as much as Ronnie, but I'm pretty sure Judd works out quite regularly. I think isn't Jack Lazowski into fitness as well?
Mm. Also, I think, the sort of the therapeutic side to running as well. The fact that, you get out and clear your mind, or you go to the gym, keep fit. It clears your mind, it keeps you fresh, doesn't it? And that can only be a plus as well.
I'm a big believer in a healthy body is a healthy mind.
You got Figueiredo, hands up in the air. Frustration is certainly getting the better of him. There are some comparisons to him and definitely Tony Drago for me. It does look like. But do you remember the time when Tony Drago, when he conceded the frame and then realised that he'd get a fine, and said the referee gave him a chance to not concede the frame, and then he slapped himself on the head a few times.
Yeah, I've seen that on YouTube. It's brilliant.
Anybody who's watching today, if you haven't seen it, please go. He played Alan McManus in a qualifier, and have a look at Tony Drago slapping himself in the head.
That's right.
It's quite hilarious.
Now, Igor has been getting very frustrated with life in this frame. And not for the first time in this ninth. There's an opportunity for him. Such a big difference between a 3 and 5 frame deficit, especially from 2-1 up. Is he just starting to snatch at things a little bit, Ken?
Yeah, I think just a slight little bit of frustration is sort of getting the better of him at the moment. He needs to just sort of compose himself a little bit. Just maybe feel a little bit aggrieved that things haven't gone his way, particularly in this frame. You got to try and put bad luck and little sort of kisses here and there that don't go your way. You put them out of your mind. You got to think about the bigger picture. He's still very capable of snatching this last frame and still having a good chance this evening. So there's a lot to play for in this final frame for both players.
Talking about the fitness demands and so on, Andy has sent a tweet in saying, never mind the demands on the players, how are you and I coping with the prospect of 27 days of snooker coverage within a month? Huge schedule for you boys. In fact, I don't know about you, Ken. I mean, well, you haven't been home for months, but it's the longest stint for me. I think 7 or 8 or 9 days before the 17 begin, and then sticking around for the seniors afterwards. I think I'm on for about 31, 32 days on the spin, and you're even more than that.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I went home, the dog went for me. It was he hadn't seen me for.
It is a long time away. I tell you one thing that I mean, this wouldn't be quite so relevant for you, being when you were in your playing pomp. I'm sure you were drinking orange juice as opposed to anything stronger. I remember when I first started covering the Crucible in 2008, I would be going out and enjoying the hospitality of various fine Sheffield hostelries until fairly late in the evening, numerous occasions, almost back-to-back nights. But now, not even a chance, because now that fortunately I'm doing reporting and the commentating as well.
Yeah.
I very rarely go out until quite close to the end of the championship, because you don't want your voice to get too tired. Do you actively, now that you're doing the commentary and punditry, well, and here and there appearing as a player at the Crucible in recent years, do you have to sort of actively pace yourself from a tiredness perspective, or not really?
Yeah, I suppose it is quite grueling. There's no doubt about it. Even doing the bit of commentary, but I must say I do enjoy it. I do love doing it, and I do like the social side. I must say, when people gather around the hotel, and particularly with your fellow commentators or pundits that you be chatting or having a meal with, and just catching up and telling stories and having a laugh, and that it's quite good. You couldn't do it every night. No, you need a few nights. So, but it's just all part and parcel of the whole World Championship, isn't it? Over the 17 days.
Yeah, it's a brilliant event to work on. Absolutely.
I know.
Superb.
When it comes to the party on the bank holiday Monday night, Rob, you certainly let loose with your trainers and your suit on the dance floor.
Yeah, that's where it all comes out, because I normally go absolutely wild on that final night, because not necessarily with drinks stronger than orange juice, but because I just enjoy dancing, and you'll feel relieved that you've got to the end. So I don't know whether there'll even be a party this year, because the rule about gathering indoors will not have changed by then. So I suspect that we'll be cobbling something together.
Yeah. Oh, that was a mistake from Igor. He's left this red on. He wanted to be closer with the cue ball to the red, almost touching, but this red pots, and maybe the blue pots into the same corner. So, very casual shot there from Igor Figueiredo. He's got to take this on, Mark Joyce, surely. No. It looks like, but I mean, well, this sort of a case of I've got an 18-point lead. I'm 6-2 up, but my opponent is not playing so well, showing a little bit of frustration. I'm just going to keep it tight. Well, definitely thought he could have taken that red on there. Once again, if I tell you, if you get snookered here.
He put his hand up there straight away, didn't he? A little bit of help from the knuckle, but Igor managing to keep his cool on that occasion.
Good shot. Very good. Mark Joyce's failure to take that red on may come back to haunt him.
Presumably you prefer to see people playing positive snooker when they can.
Well, I mean, I like a good safety battle like anybody else, but when you got a red on there and you refuse it, and it didn't look that difficult just to drop it in. Sometimes when you're in a situation like this, you can be guilty of trying to play a little bit more conservative and a little bit more negative, but in the end it's sort of you can come unstuck, you know. Good shot from Igor. Now what can he do here? The blue will go back in its own spot, so has to be a little bit mindful of that.
Potentially key moments in this match right here. Needs to keep a lid on that frustration and remember the quality that has brought him to Judgment Day in the first place, and the quality that saw him start this campaign for a piece of South American sporting history with that break of 1-3-3. He's not out of this yet, and 6-3 instead of 7-2 would be mighty helpful for the Brazilian.
Yeah, if you could leave the cue ball somewhere where the red is now, that would be a nice angle to pot the pink and then just stun the cue ball over behind these two reds on the left hand side of the table. Only available into the bottom right hand corner pocket, those two reds. So let's see. I prefer to play for the pink here than the blue. He's playing for the blue, but I think pink may have been an easier shot, but let's see how this pans out. Now he's got to put it in a target close to the left hand side cushion. Try and get in behind those two reds. Needs to miss them. This looks pretty good. Very, very good. Excellent shot.
19.
It's a good shout from you a few minutes ago, Ken. Mark Joyce might be left to rue his lack of positivity on that red to the bottom left. Let's see.
Just thought he just sort of went into a bit of a shell there, Mark Joyce. It may cost them. Not the best angle on the pink, but he just dropped the pink in and leave this last red. Sort of mid-distance range. Now this is the big shot. If you can pot this and get on a colour, they're all there from 8 points in the lead, so he's going to need red colour and yellow, green and brown. Good shot, that's okay. Can take the yellow or the blue here. I'd like to take the blue here because blue is a lot easier. You could, likes the yellow. And played it well. Good shot.
He's been, considering how fired up he's been.
Yeah.
He's been, I don't want to jinx him here, he's been quite composed over the last 5 or 6 minutes at an important juncture when they're both going to be feeling it. What are we now? Just a few minutes away from 3 o'clock. It's been 5 hours of graft for this match. Sorry, 4 hours of graft.
Yeah. So 16 points ahead, just the brown required. Shouldn't be a problem for him. This has been a really good break. We just had to pot some good balls to keep this break going. Good positional shots. So keeps him in it.
Our fourth match, poised at 6-3. Bingham 6-3 up on Luca Bracel. Really good going. So Igor joins Luca Bracel, Alexander Ursenbacher and Ryan Day as one of 4 players hoping to turn round a 6-3 deficit. That's all the live action for now. Ken, it's been a fascinating session, and let's focus on that match just for 1 second. I was really impressed with Figueiredo just towards the end there.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I was as well. I think he probably deserved it. You know, he was a little bit unlucky in the earlier part of that. Mac Joyce got a few rubs of the green. Then, of course, he failed to take that red on, which I thought was a little bit negative, and it cost him in the end. And it's thrown Figueiredo a lifeline, but I think it's a fair reflection on how the match has panned out. I think we've got some cracking finishes tonight, Rob.
We certainly have. If we can whet your appetite, thanks for your company here at the English Institute of Sport over the last 4 hours. So the ball run turned round an early deficit of 3-1. Brutal scoring. Seemed to be knocking out tons for fun. 6-3 up, 4 away from another appearance at the Crucible. Alexander Ursenbacher took the last of the session against Ali Carter to give himself a chance, trailing by 3 instead of 5. Same scoreline for Igor Figueiredo. Same scoreline for Ryan Day, nicking the last against a Ricky Walden, who initially looked like he was pulling away to give him a really grim scoreline. Bai Lang Ning is 5 frames away from an absolutely sensational victory, but Martin Gould took the last. He was facing a 6-3, but it was 5-4 in the end. The Pinner Potter 6 frames away. Gary Wilson has the most handsome advantage over Stephen Hallworth. Hallworth, remember, got back onto tour via Q School, playing at 2:30 in the morning against Alfie Burden. He's got a massive deficit there, but so did Mark Davis yesterday against Jamie Clark, and he managed to turn that round to win 10-8. So you never know. Xiao Xian Tong, 5-4 up against Sam Craigie, but Craigie very much still in the match, as is Xiao Guodong against Chris Wakelin. So we've yet to have a decider across the 1.5 judgment days. Will we go all the way to 10-9? You'll have to join us at 5 to 5 to find out. And then 11 o'clock tomorrow, we will have 32 names coming out of 2 separate bags of balls, the qualifiers and the top seeds. 10 o'clock Saturday morning, it all starts at the sports spiritual home, the Cathedral of Snooker, in the heart of the City of Steel here in Sheffield. Judgment Day Part 2 is halfway through. Join us for the main course and the dessert at 5 to 5. Bye for now.